Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. I'm so glad the WNBA is back. They started the season tip off a few days ago, which was Friday, May 6th, and there were some teams playing. I was glad to see that happening. So, there was a game that I caught, which was Connecticut versus New York Liberty. And I was rooting for the Connecticut Sun team. And I felt that the Connecticut Sun should have won that game. I'm gonna talk about that game later. I want to discuss about the WNBA teams. About them expanding, creating more teams, because even though I didn't do, it's been a while since I've done a video. I've still been on YouTube researching, reading up, on what's going on with the WNBA and all that, or whatever. That way I could come back and talk about what I've been reading and what I've heard. And there was just some things I'm not too pleased with right now. Like, for example, a couple of girls got drafted from college. I can't remember the other girl's name, but I remember one. She was from Connecticut, Avina Westbrook. So she was drafted on the team Seattle Storm. All of a sudden, I see online, like for instance, Instagram, that she got waived, meaning she was cut. And I'm like, what? Cut? And I'm thinking, well, you drafted, she's officially drafted on the team or whatever. But I know they do, they have preseason. But I thought, once they draft the person, they keep them. But anyway, it was said online that she was obviously cut from Seattle Storm, so she's no longer on Seattle Storm. So right now, I don't know what's going on with her and the other girls that got waived. Maybe some girls that were already on the WNBA were waived, or some rookies that were drafted got waived, and they're trying to figure out what team they're going to be on, or they're just not going to play. They're just cut. I do remember another girl. I think she played with Louisville. She was drafted to the Sparks. I think her name was Kiana. I could be wrong, but she played with Louisville, and she got drafted to the Sparks, and she was cut too from the Sparks. So I felt bad for her. I don't even know where these girls are going at right now. I just wonder if they're going to put them on some team, or they're just not going to play in the WNBA. I'm still wondering, what's happening with these girls that get cut. It's sad, especially when you're excited to get drafted to these teams. You're wearing their uniform, you're taking pictures. All of a sudden, you're getting cut. That is sad. I do feel bad for the girls that get cut. And I wish them well. I do hope they do get on the WNBA team. I don't want them to give up on playing basketball, but I'm pretty sure they felt hurt about it. And it's just sad that the WNBA only have 12 teams. There should be more teams. The NBA has 30 teams. They're basically worldwide. They're like all over the country. They're everywhere. WNBA has 12. It shouldn't be 12. They need to expand more. They do need more teams. They had some teams, but they were dissolved. They decided not to have the team in that city or state anymore. Like for instance, they used to have, I remember, Orlando Miracle. They had an Orlando, Florida team. They had a Miami, Florida team, which was the Miami Soul. So they dropped those teams, and then I think they had the Utah Stars, and they dropped the Utah Stars. I don't think the Utah Stars is currently in place anymore in the WNBA. But the WNBA need to add more teams, because the NBA, with the NBA, they put more effort into these guys than the women. I mean, it's been said for years that, that the guys are making more money. I'm talking about like in basketball, they pay the guys more than the women that play basketball, and it's obvious they will always put more effort into the NBA than the WNBA. That's why they don't really care about expanding these WNBA teams, and I think they need to do better by these women. These women deserve good pay. They work as hard as the men. And you have these future generation of little girls that's playing basketball. I mean, it's time to make a change for them, especially the new generation. And it's time to make a change now. Because I'm pretty sure these women that are playing basketball, they want better pay. And it's just sad to see, it's really not much improvements in the WNBA as far as adding more teams or giving the women the pay that they deserve. It's sad. And to me, it's like, okay, when I watch these games on TV, especially the WNBA games, what pissed me off, and I find nothing wrong with it. Hey, if you want to wear your nice clothes, wear your nice clothes. There's nothing wrong with looking cute. But I feel like they put more emphasis on what the girls wear when they, come to the arena, like it's a fashion show. It's not, if they want to dress cute, go ahead, dress nice. There's nothing wrong with that. But it just seemed like they just so into how they look, like it's a fashion show. And they always talk about what the girls are wearing, like that's just more important than adding more teams. And I feel like they had their priorities mixed up. With the guys, the NBA guys, they dress up too, before they, play a game. But I don't think they go that far where they talk about they dress and who is the best dressed. The WNBA, they do that with them ladies. They talk about who's the best dressed, who has the best fit. Okay, I'm to the point now I don't care about that. Because it's just more important things that needs to be discussed with these women right now, as far as better pay, adding more teams. There's a lot of things they need to discuss than worrying about who is the best dress or whatever. So I'm done talking about that. Now, the Connecticut Sun played the New York Liberty Saturday. I did catch that game. It was a lot going on over the weekend with the WNBA games. And they still have some games going on. I don't think it's a game tonight. Maybe tomorrow. Throughout the week, you just have to keep checking your television. But I know throughout the week, since they're back playing, you have to keep up with the schedule or whatever. So Connecticut Sun lost. I was mad that they lost, and they shouldn't have lost that game. The score was 79-81. That was a close game. New York Liberty had 81. Connecticut Sun had 79. So I did write a couple of notes down of my thoughts of the game. Now, Connecticut Sun, all I have to say is that they did good during the first quarter. I don't know what happened. I would say during the second quarter, they started slipping up. Because I know in the first quarter, they were stealing the ball a lot. And like, for example, we got Sabrina, I think her last name Ionescu or whatever. I felt like they should have triple teamed on her. Like, they did good trapping her in the beginning, but after a while, I don't know if they lost their confidence. Like, during the second quarter, Sabrina from New York Liberty, she started stepping it up. She started doing good, and they were leaving her open. They wasn't even triple teaming her. Now, New York Liberty, on the other hand, they was, stopping Jonquil Jones. She's one of their good players. They was stopping her, but Sabrina, they wasn't really on Sabrina. They was leaving her open too much. That's why that's why Connecticut Sun lost. So the main scorers on New York Liberty that had their team win was Sabrina, And then there was another girl that was shooting good too, Natasha. They were like the main shooters, and they weren't really stopping them. I felt like they didn't have a game plan to stop them. And I know New York Liberty, they did like a few backup plays. And I wondered, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Connecticut, like, y'all was doing good during the first quarter, and now y'all let New York Liberty catch up? Because Connecticut Sun was beating them to the point where New York Liberty couldn't catch up at first. New York Liberty caught up to them. So, I think there were a few players that were not playing with Connecticut Sun. I feel like that's why they lost. I think if Dewana Bonner was there, because I think she was absent. I don't know if she's injured or overseas. She wasn't there. Then you have Courtney Williams, who didn't play. I think if them two girls were playing, Connecticut Sun probably would have lost. Not lost, but I'm sure they would have won, because Courtney Williams and Dewana Bonner, they're very good players. So I think Connecticut Sun probably would have had a chance of beating New York Liberty if them two girls were playing. It's just missing players that they needed. Now, I want to talk about Jonquel Jones. Now, she's a great player. I do like her style of playing. I feel like she made some bad decisions with the ball. There was a time where she had the ball. She's being triple teamed, and she's still trying to shoot it under the basket, and they take it from her. So I just don't understand. You see your triple team, you trap. Why you didn't pass it to your teammate? Because when she was triple teamed, they took that ball right from her. Like, I understand you want to score, but there's a time that you're not going to be able to score the basket. You have to be realistic and say, okay, I can't score. I have to pass it. It's all about thinking and using your common sense when you're on the court. And with the WNBA compared to college, by watching the college games, I noticed with the college games, the coach, they had them like slow it down. They have the point guard like lead the direction or whatever. But with the WNBA, they're very fast. They just go across the court. It's okay to like move, even with college, move fast, do the full court play, do the backup play when you need to. But the WNBA, they just be on the move like that. They don't, stop, slow it down at times. They be like on the move. So like the WNBA, that's a fast paced league. And like for the college girls that want to go to WNBA, and you get drafted to the WNBA from college. The WNBA is like a fast paced league. And the college is fast paced, but WNBA, they're just like faster. So you have to be ready. That's all. And I know with some rookies that's coming in, that's something they have to adjust to right now. Just that fast pace right now. I mean, they'll catch on. It's all new. It's all about adjustments. And there was another good player on Connecticut Sun, Letitia Heidemann. She reminded me of Destiny Henderson. Now, Letitia Heidemann, she's a great player. She's very quick, not afraid to go in the paint. I don't know her height, but she's not like a tall girl. She's tall, but she's not tall. But she does go against the tall girls and shoot. She's a very good shooter. I don't even know if she started, but I'm not sure. But I know she's a very good player. And she needs to be playing more, like more minutes. Another good player. Now I don't want to say she made errors, because I don't think she did. I think she was really like going hard for her team. I give her that. And there was another girl going hard for her team on Connecticut Sun, and she was injured. For her being injured, like, she was scoring points. And I think I wrote her name down. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I found it. Her name is Alicia Thomas. I think she was injured. I don't know if she had a shoulder injury, but I know when she got on the free throw line, she was shooting like with one hand, and she was making some of her free throws. Even though she was injured, she was still playing. So I give her props for that because mostly when most of the time when these players are injured, they just don't want to play or they just don't play at all. But I was surprised to see her on the court. If she had all them injuries like that, but she played very well with her being injured or hurt. And then we have it's another player. I think her name is Dejanay Carrington. She played very well too. She actually showed she wanted to win. Now, my favorite part of the game she did, because I thought Connecticut Sun was going to beat them, because they were like neck and neck during the game. Both teams, New York, Connecticut, they were like neck and neck. Like there were times where it was a tie. You have New York Liberty coming up, then you have Connecticut Sun tying it. It was just a neck and neck game, and I think it was a tie. I think it was 66 to 66. DJ scored the three. It was 69. Connecticut Sun has 69. New York Liberty has 66. So I'm like, okay, it looks like Connecticut Sun have a chance of winning. And then after a while, New York Liberty came up. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I was just pissed off right now. And I think what made New York Liberty win was Sabrina with her 3-point shots. They were leaving her open. They should have been trapping her. Like when you playing against these teams, you gotta know who the good players are. You gotta know who the shooters are. And I'm surprised, with a lot of them being in the WNBA long, they should know who's gonna be helping their team win. In this case, so Connecticut Sun, they played a decent game. I I believe this is maybe their first loss of the season. I'm gonna still have faith in them. This is just the start of the game. I know they're gonna come back tough. I'm gonna keep up with them. Another team I'm gonna keep up with is Indiana Fever. Now Indiana Fever, I don't even think they won a game yet. Like, what's going on with them? Oh my goodness. But I'm gonna keep watching that team. I hope they win a game soon. And that's all I wanted to discuss. WNBA is back. I'm going to be keeping up with the games. You guys have a great night.